No sooner had New World colonization began, the world's imperial powers were at war over territory, resources, and trade routes. The most significant of these conflicts, involving America, started in present-day Pennsylvania in 1753. But what began as a squabble between colonial governors turned into world war. Within 2 years, the 7 Years' War involved all of the European powers, with battles or territory at stake in Europe, Africa, India, North America, South America, and the Philippines. The colonists called it the French and Indian War, and it permanently shifted the global balance of power. By the mid-18th century, both the British and French wanted to extend their North American colonies into the land west of the Appalachian Mountains, known then as the Ohio Territory. Each side already had fur traders doing business with Native Americans there, and pioneers living on the frontier. A group of wealthy English colonists had even formed an investment company to sell farmland in Ohio. The French believed that they had exclusive rights to the land since their explorers had been there first. They tried to force the English out by capturing several of their trading posts and destroying an Indian village that supported English traders in 1752. For years, the American colonists have been asking for permission to raise an army and end the French threat once and for all. The king had been suspicious of their motives and denied their requests, but when the French built Fort Duquesne near present-day Pittsburgh, he relented. The Virginia militia, under the command of Major George Washington, was mobilized to ask the French to vacate the Ohio Territory peaceably. They refused, but Washington didn't have a large enough force to overpower Fort Duquesne. Now colonial Washington returned to the following year with more men and proceeded to build his own stockade nearby, called Fort Necessity. The French captured the new fort, and when word reached England, King George II declared war. The year was 1756. France's early victories. Britain Holt Braddock was strengthened the militia, but he was killed before his first battle. Though New France had a sparse population, they also had a series of fortifications throughout the territory and formidable Indian allies who were fighting on their behalf. Britain decided that the colonial militia needed more experienced leadership and dispatched General Edward Braddock with an aggressive three-pronged battle plan. En route to his first battle, General Braddock was killed in a surprise attack, and France continued to win victories on the battlefields for 3 years, including the infamous 1757 massacre at Fort William Henry. The residents of the fort had surrendered to the French, but during the retreat as prisoners of war, they were attacked by France's Indian allies. In spite of the French commander's attempt to stop them, the Indians scalped hundreds of British soldiers and carried off another 200 women, children, and servants as slaves. England's only significant early victory in the French and Indian War was capturing a small French outpost that supplied the much larger Fort Louisbourg. England already had control of the surrounding territory, known as Acadia, and in order to further isolate Fort Louisbourg, England deported all of the French-speaking residents in the area. Many of these Acadians relocated to Louisiana, where they became known as Cajuns. England's success. England didn't gain the upper hand until 1758. A new battle plan organized by British Prime Minister called for a significant troop surge, new strategy that better suited the frontier, a naval blockade, and an alliance with some Native American tribes. This plan coincided with an outbreak of smallpox among France's Indian allies that year. Finally, British forces captured a series of forts, including Ticonderoga, which became an important target for colonial forces a few years later in the American Revolution. Quebec finally fell, and by 1760, England controlled all of New France. The battle for America was over and France has lost. Since hostilities continued in other theaters for a few years, the French and Indian War technically didn't end until 1763 in the Treaty of Paris. France had to give England all of the Canada and eastern half of Louisiana. In exchange, they retained control of a few Caribbean sugar islands and 2 fishing islands along the Canadian coast. Spain gained control of the western half of Louisiana territory. Spain also traded Florida in exchange for Cuba. The Mississippi River was left open to all the nations.